Hello, this is Multiverse Mermaid. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I would like to address a commonly asked question that I've been receiving on how and why did I become vegan? I can understand why this topic might be interesting because I do think that what we eat reflects our beliefs and our philosophy in life. So I would like to share a little bit about my journey and would like to tell you a backstory on why I made the decision to transition into this diet. As with many things, we always have a lot of things coming before making a decision to transition, to change our lives, and that's how it happened for me as well. So the backstory was in November 2019, I went to my doctor. She was doing this general checkup when she found in my right breast this big lump. The final diagnosis was that I was having a phylloid tumor, rapidly growing type of benign tumor that could easily transition into malignant because it grows so fast. And she was really surprised and she told me, "Why didn't you notice before?" Because usually at this size or even smaller than this, people would have been operated already. The background at the time was for about a year already I was very stressed. I was going through this rough patch of my life. I was depressed. And because I had so many things going on in my life, in my personal life, in my work, I just really didn't have time or energy to focus on my body, on my health and well-being. So that's why this thing went unnoticed. And another point was 6 months before, in my other checkup, my doctor didn't really find anything in my breast. So once I found out that I had this tumor, I was really numb to the news. I wasn't really shocked. I wasn't really upset or angry. Sadly as it was, at this point I was heavily depressed and I just really had suicidal thoughts. So it really didn't bother me that I had this lump in my breast. But by January I was really in a better emotional state, in a better mental state, and I didn't have this destructive tendency anymore. I had pushed myself to finish a lot of spiritual practices, a lot of meditations that really helped me get into a better place mentally, that I was able to clear out a lot of issues in my personal life and in my work. And finally, I had this emotional, energetic capacity to focus on my health. When I meditated on it, when I thought about it, I felt like this tumor was a sign that I really needed to change my life, that I really needed to focus on my well-being, on my inner state, that whatever I was living before this point, it had led to me having this condition because my body was taking the hit for my mental illness, for the fact that I was neglecting myself, for the fact that I was feeling a lot of shame and guilt and just feeling sad all the time. And my reasoning was like this. I saw disease as a manifestation of inner illness. Basically, I was unwell inside and it manifested into this physical condition. It had happened to me before. Whenever I would have negative thoughts, it would manifest right away, almost instantly, in some kind of illness. And many times before, when I would just clear this state of mind, state of being, it would just go out of the way and the illness would magically disappear. I don't know why it's like that for me, but that's how it had happened before. Because of that, because I had that realization on why I was having this condition, I really vowed to make a change in my life. I felt like I really need to transform my life completely. I hopped on the plane in 2 days and next thing I knew, I was over in Vietnam. I really felt this urge to reconnect to my roots and to be in the land of my ancestors. I really didn't have an itinerary planned out, so I just went where my heart was calling. In Vietnam, I booked a trip to Cambodia, to Thailand and to Indonesia because I really felt like I wanted to be in these places and maybe seeing new things will allow me to have more revelations, more understanding about myself. I decided on this 3-day fast Actually, it wasn't a decision. It was just this spontaneous urge, this spontaneous desire within myself that I really felt like I want to cleanse, I want to reset my body and my well-being. So I went through this 3-day fast, and after it I really felt like I didn't want to put anything heavy in my body. No cheese, no meat, no dairy or eggs. I just felt like I wanted to keep my meals really simple, really plain and clean. So I ate a lot of grains, rice and vegetables and fruits at this time. I felt like a lot of heavy proteins were not well digested, and they were taking up a lot of resources in my body, the resources that should be directed towards healing. So because of that, I eliminated a lot of those heavy proteins and I started eating plant-based diet. After some time, I started eating more raw food. So by March, as I continued with my travel, I transitioned more into raw food, into eating mostly raw fruits and vegetables. And my body really fared well with this. I was feeling a lot better. I was feeling really strong. I could go out, explore during my travels and not feel any fatigue or tiredness at all. I was out and about all day doing a lot of physical activity while sustaining this plant-based raw diet. During this time, I was eating very healthy. I didn't consume any processed foods, any unnatural sugars. I have to say that I had this frutarian period that I felt like, I think it's every raw vegan at least at some points go through this frutarian period when they just binge on a lot of fruits. Personally, a lot of people like live by it and claim it to be their lifestyle, but I didn't feel like it was something that appealed to me as much. I felt like when I was eating only fruits, I felt out of balance. I felt like we really need to consume a lot more green vegetables to have that chlorophyll, to have that healthy benefits of the plants. And I really felt the best when I was consuming a lot of plants and greens, although it was not always possible, I have to say, because honestly I have never been a fan of plants. It has always been so much more easy for me to eat just fruits and live on fruits. But when I was just eating fruits, I didn't feel as healthy as when I would combine fruits and plants or eat more plants than fruits. I would say that consuming green plants helped me feel my best. So to consume more of them, I started juicing. So in March 2020, I started incorporating a lot more green juices into my diet to consume more of those nutrients. And during this time, I really felt my best. I felt like so energetic, so full of life and energy that I felt very agile. I felt really strong in my training and I could do a lot more. And especially my mind was in such a good place. I just felt so happy, so fulfilled, and my emotions were all balanced and everything was perfect. So when I came back to Russia, consuming all of those vegetables and greens and fruits that were not organic, that were not locally produced and grown, that were shipped from very far away, and they were loaded with pesticides and a lot of chemicals, I really felt how it affected my health. During this time as well, when I just came back to Russia, I had this bad breakout. I was having rashes all over my body. I had like breakouts on my face. My skin was dry and flaky. My hair started falling off. And a large part of it was due to the fact that the water in Russia, in Moscow, is pretty harsh. And I felt like how it was just making my body all dry and like my skin all flaky and my hair all like falling out. So because of that, I really worked on improving the quality of the water source that I was consuming here. Because of this, I had to install a few filters in my home to improve the quality of the water. During this time, I started experimenting more as well with the alkaline water and creating alkaline water. It's another topic altogether, but it was quite interesting. I actually felt a difference in the water, on how it affected my body. During this time, I also went back to my doctor to do a checkup, and we found that my tumor has grown a little bit. Even though it was not so major, I still felt like I was really upset because I was doing all of this work, and this tumor, it doesn't shrink, but instead it still grows. Even though the rate of growth was slowing down, I just really didn't feel good about it because I felt like I went through all of this transformation, all of these changes in my life, and it didn't lead to the result that I wanted. Yeah, looking back, I realized that it was like a vicious cycle where my anxiety to heal really prevented me from healing because I was not in this relaxed state of mind. I was not accepting life as it was. But long story short, I talked to some of my close people and they were like, well, if you feel so anxious that you can't heal, why don't you just get the surgery and focus on your healing afterwards? Because in this mental state, it's obvious that you're not able to really focus on becoming better because you're so obsessed. You're just too focused on getting the result that you want that you're just pushing that result away from you. So because of that, I decided to get a surgery in May. A lot of thought went into making that decision because I was wondering, oh, if I go through the surgery, would I still be the same? I mean, would I still be able to believe in the same things? And does it mean that all of my experiments, all of these months of trying a new diet, a new lifestyle would go to waste? That in the end I was not able to learn anything and improve anything in my life? But at the same time I realized how much the diet, the lifestyle change has impacted my mental state, how it had impacted the way I view the world, how it had made me kinder, more compassionate, just more free and liberated from my old shackles of beliefs and limitations. And at that moment, I really felt grateful. I really felt that sense of gratitude on what I had went through, the lessons I have learned along the way, and I really accepted everything as it was. And I have decided that yes, I will go through with my surgery and I will accept whatever it is that will come. The surgery actually didn't go as smoothly as it was supposed to, so I had it twice. And the recovery was a little bit rough at the beginning, but then everything went well. I was able to recover, and during my recovery I was still eating mostly vegan because I felt like I still didn't want to put anything heavy into my life, into my space. Before the surgery I did all the blood tests to prepare for the surgery itself, but also I added on some blood tests that you were supposed to do as a vegan, and voila, all of my blood results came back optimal. I mean, I was in the optimal health, and it showed that I was not deficient in any of the nutrients. I was perfectly healthy. But after the surgery, I started having these strange cravings of the things I've never craved before, like dairy. I mean, I really never ate dairy in my life because I am pretty much lactose intolerant. I have a high sensitivity to lactose, so I would never drink milk or eat a lot of cheese. Very rarely. But at this time I started having this strange craving, and I thought that this might have been just a side effect from the drugs I've been taking, the medicine that I was put on when I went through this surgery, so I really thought that it will go away. But after like 3 weeks or a month, I was still having this craving, so I got really curious and I decided to go through with it and to try to understand where it was coming from and how it would change when I start consuming this product. So I added back to my diet, and I had this, what my friend and I call a funny phase of like ghee butter. I don't know, for a week straight I was eating ghee butter. I think like it really spiked my cholesterol, but I don't know. But I was really feeling good eating it. I can't lie. I added some other things as well, like bread, but I felt like the gluten really affected how I felt my well-being, so I cut back on it, even though it was quite delicious, to be honest. The other thing that happened is that after a month and a half after my surgery, I went to this picnic and I was offered to eat meat. And even though I had the meat cravings after the surgery, it was not so strong that I had to feel like I had to act upon it. And the fact of cooking it or just preparing meat really made me feel uncomfortable. It was a little unsettling. Like, I didn't really feel like going through all of that process to try it. So I really didn't act upon it. So I tried this sheep meat, and oh my god, the next 2 days was really bad. Like, the next 2 days were completely hell for me because I started having this horrible headache, and also I was feeling very nauseous. Like, my body wasn't digesting it well at all, and I felt really heavy for some reason. So after that I decided that I'll not start to eat meat again. I mean, it's not something I would want to go through, and I really felt like my body didn't crave that meat, even though at some point I really had the strong cravings for fish, things like fish. Eat fish twice on 2 occasions after my surgery. I just felt like maybe I'll try and see how it will feel, and actually it felt good. I didn't have any reactions, even though I felt like after I had eaten it, I felt like it was enough and I wouldn't want to consume it the next day or even the next week or the week after that. So I had like fish twice in those 2 months after the surgery. So after all of that experimentation, after my surgery, I would say that right now I would still mainly eat a plant-based diet. I can't say for sure that I'll never eat fish or any animal product ever again, but I would say that I wouldn't want it to be the main part of my diet. Obviously, I felt like I feel my best when I don't eat a lot of animal products, maybe even none at all in the right conditions. So right now I'm in this flexitarian phase. I wouldn't want to define myself as vegan, as this keto person, as this diet. I have never wanted to be put in this specific box on, or a specific label on who is it that I am based on what I eat, what I consume. I just really detest labels in general. So even when I went vegan or was eating a plant-based diet, a vegan or raw vegan diet, I never called myself raw vegan or like a vegetarian. It never happened in that way. Because in reality, we're a complex being. We're like psychological, emotional, physical beings that are made up of so many things. And no one knows us better than we do know ourselves. So really, whatever is it that you're doing, whatever is it you're experimenting with, try to pay attention to your inner state, to the response you have within your body, within your soul, how it reacts to any decision that you make. And maybe it will provide some guidance, because you are your best guide. I really think that it's toxic to impose your opinion on other people and try to force them to believe in the same thing as you do, because we're all different. We have to go through our own steps to fully develop into what is it that we're meant to be. And everyone's path is so different that I think it's really wrong to try to impose your beliefs, your views on another person. I mean, we already have enough of that in politics. Why would we want to introduce that, to be so rigid about it in our lives? I think that I really value that freedom. I have always valued the freedom to be who you really are and to make decisions on your own. So even though I would like to freely share the knowledge that I have, the beliefs that I have, I would never try to impose those beliefs and that knowledge on other people. And I would never condone people or judge people based on their differences, our differences, how they are different from me, how their views differ from mine. I would of course try to explain my point of view, but it would never affect the fact of how I treat other people with the respect that they deserve. So to sum up, I would like to say that whatever it is that you choose, it's your own choice, and own up to it. But I would really want everyone to be a little bit more open-minded to perceiving and accepting other people, because I really truly believe that when we speak heart to heart, we can have so much understanding and it can be so mutually beneficial in many ways. And that's when the synergy happens. That's when the beautiful thing of exchanging knowledge, of creating something new from the old beliefs happens. So I really hope that you can stay open-minded and just be free in sharing your opinion with others. I hope my video was entertaining or informational in some way. I would like for you to comment below on what you think about different diets and what do you think about the lifestyle and how it affects your health and your mental well-being. What is your opinion on this topic? Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you have a great, beautiful day. It's very sunny today in Moscow, and after recording this video, I'm going to go for a walk to appreciate the beauty of the nature outside. Thank you.